Makes for some interesting chatter. Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Did you find it? Thanks. I'm gonna have slice, open them and look at it. Just trying to save some time. Why would Indian Creek somebody said something to Ken about the meeting we promised that we would put in a lift station for the mill if it was needed. I don't remember. First of all, they wouldn't need it because we built a big one. Yeah. So I don't know. I know Kenny had a he was gonna ask you that. Was it his oldest daughter that got hurt? No. I almost scared you to death, but you won't know.
He didn't seem overly concerned about it.
Did they released her?
Well, he said when I told him something, he sent me. Here's $1,000 pops that we talked about.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
He said,
She's moved
yeah.
Plenty of time, John.
Not quite yet. Get close. Oh, they're gonna keep it. I have to keep it running. Yeah, they're fine. Oh, yeah, she just finally retired. Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to the Monday, April 13th, 2026 meeting of the Martinsville Board of Works and Safety. Meeting is hereby called to order. Mr. Meredith, would you please call roll?
Kelly Bray,
Present.
John Lillywhite,
Present.
Mayor Costin.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. We have two sets of minutes to approve tonight. The first one is the Monday, March 9th, 2026 meeting minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes?
No. I'll make a motion that we pass the minutes as written.
And you'll abstain, I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, no. Motion passes. The next one are the minutes for the Monday, March 23rd meeting. Again, you received those prior to the meeting. Are there any additions or corrections?
There are not, and I would make a motion that we approve them as presented.
I will abstain.
You will go. I will second that motion. All in favor of passing the Monday, March 23rd minutes as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, no. Motion carries. We have another set, was for the executive session minutes. You received that. That is just so we have a record that we did have an executive session and who was attending that meeting.
No additions or corrections.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we accept them.
And I would second that motion.
Been a motion made and seconded to approve the executive session minutes of Wednesday, April 8th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. You also received a copy of the claims prior to tonight's meeting. Are there any questions or comments on the claims?
No.
No.
I would motion that we approve paying those claims.
And I'll second it.
It's been a motion made and seconded to approve the claims as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion carries. The sewer adjustments tonight, 260 South Lincoln Street, $5,307.96. 715 South Ohio Street, $36.03. 879 East Washington Street, $328.80. 359 North Cherry Street, $1,466.05. And 2110 Mahaleysville Road, number 382, for $3,406.16. Are the questions or comments on the sewer adjustments?
Nothing to be concerned about on the Lincoln one. I mean, it's an apartment complex. I'm sure it's a pretty large line.
There's 8 buildings there that have a 2-inch line coming in, so when they break, it's a lot of water.
Okay? So no concerns from the city, though. Then I don't have any questions. I would motion that we approve them as requested.
And I'll second it.
It's been motion made and seconded to approve the sewer adjustments as presented tonight. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The motion carries. Under unfinished business, changes to parking patterns on selected streets. Chief Manley?
Good evening, Board. We were asked to look at, sorry, I'm screaming, parking issues and maybe possibly traffic flow issues on specific streets, specifically West Harrison Street from Main to Park. Considerations for one-way westbound, one side of the street parking. West Pike Street, Main to Park Avenue, one-way eastbound, one side of the street parking as well. Additionally, East Pike Street from Main to Fifth. Fifth Street in entirety, East Walnut Street from Main to Home, East Jackson Street from Main to Second, and East Washington Street around the 600 block, which is where the street ends on Washington Street. So to be clear with the board, we take this seriously. We want to understand that we look at it from the resident's lens. We also look at it from the police officer stance, and I look at it from the chief of police lens. I understand that this could potentially impact residents in the area that have had habits or require change that they might have done for years. However, looking at it as a lens for the entire city, I think that this logistically is the best plan, is to go forward with one side of the street parking on the specific streets and the suggestion of one-way travel on West Harrison and West Pike Street. While the police department identifies the need for restricted parking, we also suggest that the city would help us and assist on determining the specific side of the street with considerations for fire hydrants and residential flow. Specifically on the suggestion for one-way travel on West Pike and West Harrison Street, it presents a unique challenge. There's physically narrow streets. Some of the homes don't have drives, so totally annihilating the parking would cause us hardship for the residents there. We've evaluated changing the flow of traffic to resolve the safety hazards while preserving necessary residential parking. These are our professional observations. We all know that there are other streets in the area that face similar congestion. If the board would consider entertaining this, we would like to look at other streets as well. But starting here would be a good starting point for us. Any questions?
Yes.
Go ahead, I'll do my best.
As far as East Pike Street from Main to North Fifth Street, I feel like Matt Dunn had told us at a meeting in March that that street was only 22 feet wide, which would, based on your recommendations, say that there's no parking on that street.
It is a difficult street to navigate with parking, but we looked at it from the lens of one side of the street parking, we can entertain other if that's suggested.
So even though it's not 24 feet, which is, you're going to allow one side of the street parking?
I looked at it from that lens, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I don't like it, but I did look at it from the lens of no parking.
You did not look at it at the lens of no parking? I just think no parking on Pike Street is going to be really tough.
I agree, and that's why we looked at it from the lens of one side of the street parking instead of no parking.
And then making it one way was,
One way on
on
west
west,
side.
yeah,
so
west,
from Main
okay.
Street West is
Yeah.
what we were considering there. Pike is tight, but I think I agree with you that the hardship of no parking is going to be difficult to navigate for the residents there.
So let me ask this, Chief. If, and I'm going to pick on West Harrison Street right now, if we make West Harrison Street one way to the west, could we allow parking on both sides?
I don't
No,
think
it'd
so.
still be parking on just one side or the other. Okay.
I don't believe so. Specifically for the fire apparatus, they're so big to navigate that area. I think it would cause a hardship in the area.
my main question is, how is this going to be enforced? I mean,
Obviously, it's going to be a change for all of us.
say putting up signs is great, but
Right. I think there's going to have to be a grace period on our end from the law enforcement side.
I agree.
We can't expect people just to change overnight. I'll make mistakes just as anyone else will. So there has to be a grace period to allow people to grow with the city and change with the city.
are we considering sending out any kind of correspondence, like a letter to the residents to let them know, or?
Well, and I think, and again, Mr. Porter, if I get out of procedure here, reel me in. But I'm thinking that, with what Chief Manley has said and what we've digested, if the paper would get something out and maybe we get something out in the water bills or somehow that we're looking at doing this, we're not gonna make everybody happy. And we know that going into this. But we've got to look at what's the safety for everyone. If you have a congested area down on West Harrison Street and someone's having a heart attack and the EMA and fire trucks can't get there,
Every second counts in that moment.
yeah. So, and again, we're not doing this to make hardships on anybody. We're looking at, what is the safest and best way.
Sure.
But I think that we need to, with the paper's cooperation, I'll say something on the radio station tomorrow, and if we can get some kind of flyer, just to let people know that this is what's happening, and maybe we come back in May at one of our meetings after the three of us have had time to look at it, digest it a little bit more, and then think, okay, how long of a time period do we want to advertise this is going to be happening before we actually pull the trigger?
Sure.
I mean, that's kind of my opinion, but.
Are you making a motion?
No, if there was a motion at this point, it would be to table this until one of our meetings in May and for us to go ahead and look at it on our own.
Is this to allow the public to come in and comment on it, or?
I would say if the public wanted to call, that Mr. Porter would be more than happy to take their phone calls and forward them to me.
I think he would be, he might be less than happy, I don't know. Because, listen, I acknowledge that at least half of the residents there are going to be less than thrilled about this. And I understand that, and I'm certain that they won't like it, but having driven down there and being terrified that some kid's gonna pop out between two closely parked cars, or somebody's going to come in the opposite direction and force me into a car. People forget that the whole name of this board is not the Board of Works, it's the Board of Works and Public Safety. And, you know, I think we're addressing that second half in this. So, and I would also tell any resident that's affected by this that there's probably going to be a longer list of residents affected by it because there's more streets that we need to look at. So I am happy to table it if you would like, Mayor. I don't know about Kelly, but I'm also happy to make a motion and move forward on it.
I guess my concern is just that, I mean, even your recommendations suggest the 24 feet. So I don't want to agree to the fact, I mean, I just want to know if there are streets that aren't 24 feet, which I know there are.
Right.
I would like to see a map of those streets that's going to be affected. But what you're saying tonight, is that it would just be these particular streets that we're talking about.
Can I
For-
address
for
the
now.
East Pike Street? I think that's what you're concerned about. the
Well,
22.
but it's not just East Pike. I mean, it would be every street that's less than 24 feet. I would like to, I mean, if we're gonna like strip parking from the entire street, I just think residents need to know it. And I don't wanna make a blanket motion that this is gonna just be passed.
One of the things that makes East Pike Street more difficult to navigate is the fact the first 9 blocks from Main Street going east, the first 9 blocks, parking's on the south side. Now, what we're trying to establish long-term, east-west, we would love to have the parking on the north side, just to be consistent. Most towns do that. North-south streets, we'd love for the parking to be on the west. Because again, why that happened, I don't know, but you go in most towns, that's the way it is.
It does seem like that's the unspoken rule is
It is.
the parking is specifically on one side or the other.
But there's always exception, and I think the reason why Pike was done on the south, at the time, there were more homes on the south side than there were the north side. So they allowed parking on the south side. When you get to Home Avenue, all of a sudden, it shifts to the north side. Parking is allowed on the south. And what makes it more complicated, Kelly, is when people are driving down, then they're doing this to get through. And I think that's the danger. Ideally, yes, we'd love to have a wider street there and, you know, should be no parking. There's not enough parking, there's not enough driveways.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
That's
think
the
that's the
problem.
real issue, and I think the department, Kelly, is saying that ideally, if a street was under 24 feet, that we would have no parking, but if there's no driveways on that street, you know, the cars can't
Yeah, we felt
float.
with the street width, we had to have some type of compromise, and that was the compromise to move it to one side specifically.
Oh, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah,
But what we're looking at now are these specific streets,
Correct.
not a blanket thing. And I want to
yeah.
address Chief Green. Was it 2 days ago, we had a company working on some of the heaters in the garage. And they were so shocked, you know, this used to be the fire station in here. How many trucks do you have in here? I said, well, there's 3 trucks. But now look how wide and how big the trucks are. I mean, it's just,
Yeah,
it's
I
a safety
definitely
issue.
feel this way.
Yeah. Well, I will acquiesce and make a motion that we table this for, the first meeting in May, to allow for time to advertise this and allow for comment. But I would say, in general, right now, I'm in favor of this, so.
So he
I'm
wants.
gonna second the tabling till May.
So we'll table it, but my question is gonna be, is the first meeting in May good enough for the two of you?
Yes.
It is for me.
I mean, I drove Walnut and Jackson last night, and it's like a ping pong ball.
It is.
You know,
Walnut
it's
and
nothing
Pike.
like Pike,
Yeah, during the evening.
where Pike is like all on this side, and then you jump Home Avenue, it's all on the other side. I mean, I don't know how you get an emergency vehicle down Walnut or Jackson,
It's challenging.
um, because of the maze that,
But you know, Kelly, once you get past home on East Pike, you really can park on both sides. There's no parking
sure.
on either
I just
side.
thought driving on
I
a
see
Sunday
on
night,
Harrison.
most
Yeah.
people were gonna be home, and
So
I
it's-
counted the cars.
There's times when there's parking on both sides.
On Harrison, there's no parking marked, but it's not on every block. So you'll drive and on one block, it'll have signs, and on the next block, it'll not have signs, and they park
whatever you decide to do,
Yeah.
we're ready. Frank has ordered a bunch of signs. We have no parking signs. We have one way this way, one way this way. So whatever you all decide, we can implement when you're ready to implement.
Yeah, and in terms of your idea of having a grace period, I think that's a wonderful idea. The last thing I want to do is just go and blast a bunch of people. Good point.
Yeah.
Motion made.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Are you okay? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mac.
Next in our old business or unfinished business, the request to change stop sign configuration of Burton and Jordan Road.
I don't know, did you have a chance to go out there and look
Yes.
at it?
Yes,
Yeah. What do you think?
I think it can be removed.
You think it can be removed?
Mhm.
I'm going to vote no on it personally. I
Okay.
don't think it's hurting anything. It's just somebody who doesn't want to stop there. And I do appreciate that as a person who hates to stop. But I don't think it makes anything safer to take it out. I think it makes it more confusing.
Okay?
So
we
she-
need a motion one way or the other.
I would make a motion that we do not remove the stop sign. Kelly?
I will second that motion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
Mm.
2-1, motion passes.
I think this is the first time we've ever had a split vote. It's exciting.
Yeah. Under new business, Mr. Dunn, you have some
Yeah.
bids to open.
Yep. This is for the paving this summer. We've applied for a community crossing matching grant. It's close to 4 miles, and I'm going to open these in the order that I received them. The first is Wallace Construction. They dropped it off at 9 a.m. And the total bid amount is $684,475.30. $684,475.30. The next one was received at 10:30. It's Milestone Contractors. Total bid amount is $743,465.88. I'll repeat it, $743,465.88. Next one I received at 2:30 this afternoon. It was Grady Brothers. The total bid amount is $733,366.48. That's 733-36648. And the last one I received at 3 p.m., it's E&B Paving. The total bid amount is $675,122.68. That's $675,122.68. I ask that you take it under advisement, and we'll come back to you next meeting with a recommendation. Okay?
That's the closest I've ever seen the bids come in. It's impressive.
Mr. Porter?
Good evening, Board. We have one street closure request. It's the annual Independence Day Parade. It will be on Saturday, July the 5th, beginning at its usual time of 10 a.m. from John R. Wooden Middle School, traveling north on Sycamore to Washington, then going west on Washington to Jefferson, and then south back to the school. And I know that the committee is working very diligently to get additional participation in the parade, and I think that it will be a good event, as it always has been. This is its 5th year. If you do have a question, there is a representative present.
Did I misunderstand? Did you say the 5th?
I'm sorry, I did say the 5th. Saturday is the 4th.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I don't have any questions.
No questions.
I would motion then that we approve the application for the street closures.
And I'll second it.
Been a motion made and seconded to approve the street closures for the Independence Day Parade on Saturday, July 4th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed no, motion carries. Mr. Merida?
So before you tonight is a system change request for the Martinsville Theater. The request is for $19,826.13. This is to upgrade the sound equipment to a more compatible system for the movies. This was a recommendation back when the construction began. The RDC recently moved monies for this and a few other expenditures, so there has been money set aside for that. So they are aware of this, and they've set monies aside.
Is it going to make movies easier to hear?
It'll make everything easier to hear. There will also be another change order that will make the movies cheaper to purchase. So 'cause right now we're having to use that manual DVD system. But this is the first step in that. Or actually, this does have the Blu-ray disc in there. So this will make us DCI compliant, so we can actually stream Disney movies and things like that. We're having a lot of trouble getting those right now.
I don't have any questions on that.
I don't either. I'll make a motion that we accept the change order for the entertainment center.
I would second that motion.
Been a motion made and seconded to approve the change order for technical equipment for the Met. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed no, the motion carries. Mr. Coffey?
Tonight, a consideration to settle a lawsuit. Lawsuit was filed back in February of 2025 by the Sue Hayden Irrevocable Trust against the city concerning our levee project that we constructed for inverse condemnation as far as the taking of property concerning the construction of a roadway as well as other related structures, one of them being a lift station. So anyway, there's been an appraisal on the real estate. It would be for a total of $350,000. It would include acquisition of the real estate, also include damages involved in that particular inverse condemnation claim. We do have funds from the levee project available to pay for this. So just looking at tonight for consideration of approving that settlement.
I don't have any questions on that. I would motion that we approve the settlement that's been presented.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve the settlement as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Next regular meeting of the Board of Works and Safety will be on Monday, April 27th, 6:30, here in the council chambers. We are adjourned.
Closer.